Hello, welcome to the first pre-departure orientation session for Coach for College. My name is Seth Napier, and I will be going over these slides, giving you a summary, an overview, and adding information that isn't contained in the slides. But I will not be going into all the details of what's contained here, so I recommend downloading these and going through them, reading through them in detail on your own time, either before you watch this video or afterwards, just to make sure you know everything that we're trying to communicate. And feel free to contact us if you do have any questions about any aspects of this. So let's get started. Here's me. This is gives a quick overview of a few aspects of who I am. That's me at the bottom beating a drum at one of our project sites in the Mekong Delta in southern Vietnam. Most schools in Vietnam use a drum like that instead of class bell. So when the class period is over, myself or one of my Vietnamese colleagues will go beat that drum 3 times, and you can hear it all over the school grounds, and that all the teachers, all you guys will know that it's time to switch to your next classroom or come outside to do your sports session. So that's kind of a fun difference. In terms of me, I've been very fortunate to have more than one really meaningful, deep immersion experience in another country, either living or working or studying, and I've found it really enriching to get to know another culture, begin to see things from their point of view, begin to see where I come from and my culture in a new light. And I also have really come to value being involved in the people's lives around me, contributing positively, hopefully, and realize that as I contribute to others, they usually contribute to me at least as much as I am to them. So it's a really nice cycle that makes my life much richer and more meaningful. And one thing I really enjoy about Coach for College is being able to share these 2 aspects of my life and help other people begin to experience that as well. Both the Vietnamese and the American culture, both the Vietnamese and the American coaches living and working together become friends and learn a lot through that process. And at the same time, their main focus is really being involved in making a difference in the kids' lives that we're teaching, and to see how much that means to the coaches, and also how much that means to the kids who realize that here are college students that are cool, that they look up to, that have come and care about them, and see how important that is to them is pretty fun, pretty rewarding. So I look forward to continuing this adventure and enjoying it with you guys as we both continue to learn and discover in Vietnam this summer. Okay. So next we have a couple stories we just wanted to share, just to give a glimpse of what other past participants have experienced. This is Jessica Wacker. She was a fencer at UNC. And the next story we have is Luke from Florida State. We've collected several of these stories in a book, and you can see the link at the bottom here. If you click on that and expand it to full screen, the text is a little small, so you want to make sure it's full screen to be able to read it. You can read several stories and see some pictures of the coaches telling the story. And that just kind of gives a nice glimpse of what the summer's all about for different people. Okay, so starting to give an overview of the program itself. I'm sure you probably have some idea, but you might not know everything I'm about to say. I'll give you a glimpse, show some pictures, so you start imagining what your summer might be like. So as you know, we're running camps, summer camps. They're day camps. We have one group of kids in the morning, one grade, and then another group of kids come in the afternoon. And we use sports. We have sports classes, we have life skills classes, and we have academic classes that alternate and rotate throughout the day. We make sure it's fun, interesting. We develop relationships along the way. What we teach in the classroom is important, but they're all throughout the day in ways that the kids aren't even realizing. Maybe we're teaching a lot of other important things like teamwork, supporting each other, self-confidence, and things like that. And one of the main goals is to help kids do better in school the upcoming year, value school, stay in school longer, and overall develop confidence that they can succeed and make a difference in their lives. So here's Vietnam. It's a very long and narrow country shaped a bit like an S in Southeast Asia. Very interesting part of the world. Very old cultures, very different from what we're used to in the United States. Coach for College has been around since 2008, so we've gradually built this, also with the support of coaches. People have ideas, have contributed, volunteered, put in a lot of hours, given us good ideas. So the product you see today is largely a result of the collaboration of both Vietnamese and American coaches who really like to stay involved and keep providing this for the kids and making it even better in the future. We have camps in 2 different provinces. We originally started in Hà Giang province. You'll see it in the south there. That's the Mekong Delta region of Vietnam. The Mekong is one of the biggest rivers in Asia. It comes all the way down from China through Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and it goes into the sea there in the south, and it branches out into a whole bunch of huge, they look like huge rivers, each branch, and all kinds of canals everywhere. So it's an agricultural area, a really fertile soil, and a lot of water. So rice fields everywhere, a lot of fruit is grown there as well. Fairly rural, low income. It's definitely a different environment than what probably any place you've been if you haven't been to Southeast Asia. So we have 2 sites we run there, and we have 3 different sites in Da Nang province. We've expanded there more recently. That's in central Vietnam. Da Nang is a city, a very nice and well-managed city in central Vietnam, and where our schools are out from the city on the outskirts, where it's it's not quite as rural, but it's beginning to be rural, and there are also factories in the area. So it's the lower income area of that province. We have various sites there as well. That's more mountainous and more arid, but you do see rice fields there as well. Okay, so our program participants, the people we serve are the middle school youth. Depending on the camp, we'll have either 6th and 7th graders or 8th and 9th graders, and it takes place in their summer. So it's the summer, the ones who have just finished 5th grade who are going into 6th grade, or what we call 6th graders. So they're in between. So Vietnamese middle school goes from 6th grade to 9th grade. And then, of course, we have American student athletes who come as we call you coaches, but in reality, you're both coaches and teachers, and throughout the whole program, very much mentors. But coaches is a little easier to say. And it's a mirror image on the Vietnamese side. There are Vietnamese college students who you partner with. Most camps have about 8 American coaches and 8 Vietnamese coaches. They're also participating for the first time. Teaching is new to them. They're going to be nervous and excited, just like you. They are not student athletes. Student athletics is largely an American phenomenon, and most countries in the world don't have that. So one of their major selection criteria is their English language skills. So they are very important to not only to help teach and coach with you on the teams, but to help translate, because our Vietnamese isn't nearly as good as their English. We also have college student directors. Not every camp always has this role, but we do very much at Coach for College like to keep you involved. Many of you wish to do that, and we like to provide more leadership opportunities. So a college student director is a returning volunteer who's coming for a second summer, or potentially a third as well, but who's essentially a team leader. They've been through this before. They've been there that first day when you're teaching for the first time, when you're not used to working through a translator, when you've never been in front of a class before, and the lesson planning seems to take a long time. And they know what the good strategies are. They have a broader perspective and know to tell you, hey, 2 days from now, everything's going to be going much more smoothly. So there's usually a Vietnamese and college director and college student director, and often an American one as well. Here are some of our program goals. I'm not going to go into all the details here, but essentially we do use sports as a medium to teach the kids and to influence them, give them confidence in their abilities to succeed in school, and help them with their motivation as well. Not only do the sports make it fun when we're actually teaching the sport and provide a context to teach other things such as teamwork and sportsmanship. But we use sports in the classroom as well. The Vietnamese education system often has a lot of rote memorization of what the teacher says without a lot of participation, and it can be fairly abstract. So we try to make it, because it is the summer, make it fun and exciting, show them that learning can be fun. And so we incorporate a lot of games and examples from sports. It's not just theoretically physics and acceleration, but we can actually measure it with a ball, a basketball, or give an example of measuring speed running and outside and things like that, making it interactive. Okay, let's... Oh, of course, sorry. Also, while our focus, both you and the Vietnamese college students, our focus is on the children themselves and serving them, we very much believe that this is a two-way process, and as much as the kids will be learning in the camps, we believe this is a great growth opportunity for you. I've seen it firsthand every year. It doesn't seem like long. You're there 3.5 weeks, but I always wish I could introduce you at the end of the camp to the person you were when you stepped off the plane and have you two meet and see the differences. You're a lot more confident. You're comfortable in a place that when you first stepped off the plane seemed exotic and completely different. You didn't know how to even peel any of your fruits that they gave you because you've never seen them before. And now you're at home, comfortable, excited, and really you've had an experience and developed relationships that really will stick with you for many years. And you've overcome a lot of obstacles. We definitely put you a little bit outside your comfort zone, not too far, but a little bit, push the boundaries, challenge you. And being in a different place as different as Vietnam definitely does that, and it's a big achievement. But when you leave, to realize, wow, I can do this. I'm comfortable here, and so we really have seen and believe strongly that this is really going to be developmental for you guys as well, and you will enjoy it a lot. This gives an overview of the camp schedule. Once you're actually on site teaching, it'll probably make more sense. Initially, it can be a little hard to visualize it when it's still abstract. But at the top, you'll see the overall schedule of the camp. So you guys will arrive before this shows up, and then we'll travel to the campsite on Saturday. Sunday, you'll see at the top there. We have orientation with you and the Vietnamese college students. And then we go to the school in the afternoon. The kids will have been registering with our Vietnamese staff. And then we'll have an initial session getting to know the kids, telling them a bit about who we are, forming the teams. The kids are all divided into 4 teams that you guys also take part in. And so we'll do a few activities with them, show them the sports, give them an overview of the camp as well. And then we'll start our lesson planning that night. And then you'll see for the 3 weeks of camp, we have class Monday through Thursday each week. So you'll be teaching, and those days are pretty similar to each other. There'll be different lessons, different days, but you'll be alternating between being on the sports court and being in class Monday through Thursday. And Friday is competition day, so the kids will have competitions in each of the 4 sports that are taught at the camp. We start out with some more basic things because they're at a beginning level, so it could be, for example, basketball relays, dribbling through cones, and then the next week we might include some shooting drills, and then by the 3rd week we'll have some semblance of a game, probably not with all the rules, but an actual real basketball competitions between each other. And they'll do that in all the different sports, as well as having tests. They have individual written tests in life skills and in their academic subjects. And then the scores, their team scores, you'll take all the test scores and put them together for their team average. And each team will get a life skills score, an academic score, and a sports score. And so the kids really enjoy this. On Monday, they'll see which team is in first place and how they scored in each of those 3 areas. And then that'll just continue through the 3 weeks. And then to end the camp, we have 2 days of competitions. We have longer sessions to be able to play more full sports games and longer tests, comprehensive tests. And then we end on Sunday with an awards ceremony, Sunday morning, when we announce the winning team and we give out prizes to the top 3 in academics, the top 3 in life skills, the most improved students, and things like that. And then we have to say goodbye. a special moment, and then we head back. In terms of each day, the bottom table gives a bit of an idea. So there are more details on our webpage with actual times and how this day is divided up, but this gives it an idea. So we go to camp in the morning. We take our camp bus and arrive at school. The kids are usually there waiting for us already. We're usually excited to see us. And so we start, usually it's hot in Vietnam, so in the morning we start off and have our sports earlier in the day to avoid the heat of the day. So we start with the sport. So you'll be teaching your sport, and then you'll go into class and teach your academic subject to one of the kids' teams. Then you'll go back outside to your sports court, and then another team will come, and you'll teach that same lesson to another team of kids. Then back into class to teach your academic subject again. And then we'll end with a life skills class at the end of the day. And that's time where you can share a lot of personal stories. We do have lessons for those as well. But it has a lot to do with the value of education, many things you know as a student athlete that you maybe don't even realize you know that, but you definitely know about setting ambitious goals, and you also know very much about persistence on how to achieve them, ways to break it down into smaller steps, the value of a support group around you to help you achieve those goals, various things like that. So there's a different life skills lesson each day that we think is pretty important. And then we have some team bonding at the end just to get to know the kids better the first week. And then in the second and third week, we'll be going over some of the test questions that a lot of the most missed test questions, just to give them a bit of a review. Then we go home, we have a lunch. In Vietnam, people usually take a nap in the afternoon. So just kind of relax, sleep, take a little nap if we want. Then go back in the afternoon, and you'll have a different grade in the afternoon. And so you have different lessons. And here, because it's still hot, we flip the schedule. We start out with life skills and then an academic class, and then go out to the sports court and continue until the end of the day. Then we go home, shower up, have dinner. After dinner, we usually go over the next day's lessons in your team, just to go over them, and so you know what you're going to be teaching and divide up who will be teaching what. Write in a journal, have some laughs, and usually head to bed on the early side after enjoying probably a nice tropical fruit smoothie, one of the highlights. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So here are some of our partner organizations. We partner quite closely with East Meets West. It's a foundation started by a Vietnamese person from the Da Nang area who moved to the United States and started this foundation. It now works in other Southeast Asian countries as well. And so they partner with us in Vietnam, providing logistical support and bureaucratic support as well. And we also, our main partner from the university point of view is Can Tha University. It's a university in the southern part of Vietnam near the Mekong Delta. We've since expanded to include students from other universities. But Can Tha is our historic one, and where we're most well known and where we get a large number of our coaches from. And for the sites in the Mekong Delta, we'll probably get a chance to tour that university and see what a Vietnamese campus looks like. The Vietnamese coaches are usually pretty excited to show us around that and see their dorms. So a lot of the rooms have 8 to 10 people in a dorm room. So it's not a double or a triple. I'm not sure what you call it, but it's pretty interesting. Okay, so that's a bit of an overview of the program. Here are some more logistical aspects. You've probably received an email already from us about health and vaccinations, but what we ask is that each person set up an appointment with a doctor or your campus's travel clinic or health services, and let them know about your upcoming trip and follow their recommendations for vaccinations and any antibiotics or anything else they recommend. Unless you've traveled before, you likely will require at least a couple immunizations. So yeah, that's your health is important, and most of these immunizations last several years, if not for life. So it's definitely worth getting them for future travels as well. We also say, read through these details. I'd recommend it. But we also say if you have any prescription medication, it could be quite hard to get while you're in Vietnam, especially when we're out in the countryside. Not that it's not available, but much better to make sure you bring enough of your medication with you, so that you don't have to try to figure out what the brand name is called there and try to find it and obtain a prescription. And also, we recommend to bring extra contacts, eye drops, and a backup set of glasses if you need those. And all those things should be packed in your carry-on. We'll let you know later on, be closer to the date, in one of these sessions about packing tips. But valuables and things like that you want to make sure you don't lose should be kept with you in your carry-on. Okay, so fundraising. Most of you, I'm sure, have probably begun fundraising already. If you haven't, please do so quite soon. Contact us if you're feeling like you're not gaining the traction you would like, or if you need some extra ideas. Here are a few written out, and I'm sure you've seen some that I've emailed you already. But most people find it an easier process than they initially think. It's a little intimidating, but once you get started, you'd be surprised how much people care about you and want to get involved supporting this experience for you. So just keep doing that. Keep thinking. If you have new ideas or following up with people, keep that going. And we'll be providing updates on how that is going periodically for the next few weeks. Okay, this is important. Airlines and many countries require that your passport be valid for at least 6 months past the date that you will be boarding the plane to return home. And so make sure that your passport is valid 6 months or more past your return date. So if you don't have a passport or it's expiring before then, it's extremely important that you apply for that right away. I'm going to need a copy of your passport to be able to apply for your visa, and obviously you can't get into Vietnam if we don't have that set up ahead of time. So that needs to be done right away. Contact me if you haven't done it, and we'll give you some information on how to renew it. And definitely opt for the expedited process so that your passport gets back sooner rather than later. Once that passport comes, just email me a scan of the photo page so that I have all the information on it. Lastly, we have participation agreements and terms and condition forms that have been emailed to you. So if you can fill those out, it shouldn't take very long. There's just a couple places to put your signature and fill in a couple lines, just agreeing to the participation conditions, and also giving a brief medical history if there are any particular allergies you have or medications we should be aware of. Fill those out, and we need those either faxed or mailed by post. So please, if you could get that done soon, that would really help on our end. I think one more slide. Yes, so these are just a few of the next steps. We're looking into buying flights for each of you. So talk about your plans, figure out where you need to fly from the United States, what date you want to return from the United States or to the United States, and let us know that once you know. And we'll be working with each of you over the coming weeks, calling you up and making sure we get the right flight that fits your needs. I also recommend getting to know the other people on your team, setting up maybe a Facebook group, and just so you have places to start to see who else might be participating with you. And as I said, just keep going on those fundraising efforts and let me know if you have any questions. And I look forward to meeting you all soon.